Straight ahead on 12 News, a push to pedal. Minnesota is a state that loves to bike, but see what has cyclists so concerned. Then, painting with a purpose. Why these Brooklyn Park College students are taking their work outside the classroom. But first, the story making headlines in Ohio gives hope to parents of a missing child from Maple Grove.
Hope is what sustains you when there's nothing else.
12 News starts right now. The discovery of 3 missing women in Ohio is giving renewed hope to family and police searching for a missing Maple Grove woman.
Amy Paniak was 13 years old when she disappeared from an Osseo gas station in 1989. The picture on the right is what police say she could look like now. Her parents tell Renee Bonneau they cannot wait for the day Amy comes home too.
He had read it on the internet.
News out of Ohio hit Amy Paniak's parents hard.
Her eyes were all puffy, and he said, "Did you hear about what happened in Cleveland?"
For Marshall Midden and Susan Paniak, the joy of hearing 3 missing women were rescued was quickly overshadowed.
Something like this happens, and it feels like 1989 again. And it's just like complete hopelessness and not knowing what to do.
You wonder, when is a call going to come, and they're going to say, you know, we found Amy.
Amy disappeared nearly 24 years ago from an Osseo gas station, but neither her parents nor investigators are giving up the search for her.
This room is her room.
Maple Grove police have dedicated a room to pictures, timelines, and tips that could help bring her home.
It is a daunting task.
Detective Travis Pabuda says investigators work on Amy's case on a daily basis.
We also meet on a quarterly basis as a unit to discuss this case, to try to generate more ideas to see if there's anything that we can go on, or if there's other agencies or other techniques or things like that we haven't thought of.
The Ohio case doesn't just give Maple Grove police hope, it could teach them something too.
We'll probably receive some information on the circumstances and maybe some investigative techniques, and obviously if there's anything that they have learned or techniques or things that they have done that we can employ here with Amy's case, we will definitely do that.
Hope is what sustains you when there's nothing else.
Hope is what Amy's parents hang on to, and it's something they want their daughter to have too.
You need to know that there's somebody out there still cares. They're still looking.
According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, there are about 17 missing kids in Minnesota. Susan Paniak says it's important to keep the word out about all missing children because finding one could lead police to another. And Mike and Alex, Maple Grove police are still looking for any tips or information about Amy's disappearance.
You just never know what might be helpful.
Right.
Thanks,
Right.
Renee.
Thank you, Renee. Minnesota House passed minimum wage hike. Now it's the state Senate's turn. The Senate proposal would bump pay for minimum wage workers by 50 cents to $7.75 an hour by the year 2015. The House version raises it to $9.50 an hour. The legislature must reach a compromise in order for it to pass. Small business owners are watching this issue closely. The owner of one local fast food restaurant estimates a wage hike could cost his business more than $20,000 a year. $20,000 a year, that is, a cost he says would have to be passed on to customers.
The House has approved a Brooklyn Park lawmakers bill that seeks to make Minnesota a leader in solar energy jobs. Melissa Hortman's bill requires large utility companies to get 4% of their power from solar energy by 2025. Hortman points to a similar law in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, they now have more than 5,000 jobs attributable to the solar industry. So members, I'll ask you to vote today in favor of House File 956, in favor of the creation of jobs and helping the hundreds of Minnesota companies in the solar industry and those who haven't yet chosen Minnesota, but who we want to come here.
Critics say solar power is unreliable and can't compete without subsidies. Xcel Energy opposes the legislation, saying it will cost customers more and cost the company $1 billion to reach that solar mandate.
Prosecutors credit Plymouth police for helping to bring justice to victims of a credit card skimming operation. Sarkis Mixon of California pleaded guilty to identity theft. That follows a guilty verdict last March against his wife. Prosecutors say the couple put a homemade credit card skimmer inside gas pumps at a New Hope gas station. Plymouth police helped crack the case after pulling over the couple for speeding. The California man was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison and must pay restitution to the victims.
Maple Grove police, meanwhile, are attempting to identify the owner of a stolen Dune buggy. The vehicle, seen right here, was found in a trailer that was stolen from a Maple Grove storage business. It was later recovered in Brooklyn Center. Anyone with information is asked to call Maple Grove police. Minnesota is known for being a bike-friendly state.
But we seem to be slipping a little. A new study ranked Minnesota number 4 in the nation. And Sonia Goen shows us where some improvements could be made.
Who wouldn't want to get on a bike? We've got some pretty amazing trails.
Just being out in the fresh air, enjoying the beauty.
Just ask Grace Erickson.
I think it's great. I think Minnesota has wonderful trails as compared to a lot of other states.
And she would know. She bikes at least 5 times a week.
Last year I did over 6,400 miles for the year, and thus far this year, since January, I have about 2,400.
Grace is part of a large Minnesota biking community. In fact, we have the second most bike commuters per capita.
This is phenomenal. I live in Maple Grove. I bike right out of my garage, and I do laps around here at Elm Creek, and it's a real asset to the community.
There are more than 1,500 miles of paved trails in the state, not to mention endless road routes.
There's the corridor trail and other trail systems here, so you can ride for hours and hours, and you can stay on a trail system without having to get on the roads.
Well, many people say they love the trails. They say more can be done when it comes to safety and sharing the roads.
There's some drivers out there, a small minority, that just don't like bikes on the road.
Safety is a big concern among many biking organizations. One group told me they think more people would get out on the roads if motorists would pay attention to cyclists.
I don't like it on real busy streets because I think it's dangerous.
I've had friends that have had things thrown at them.
Even with safety concerns, bikers are a dedicated bunch. They say there's nothing like checking out the scenery on a cycle.
I just feel better after I've been biking. It's a good way to start out my day, and I enjoy it.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And the group Bike Minnesota is calling on state lawmakers to dedicate funding for more bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure in the metro area.
For the second straight year, Minnesota has set a state record in exports, a feat aided by companies in the northwest suburbs. The state's top export was machinery. That was followed by medical devices, an industry that has a major foothold, of course, in cities like Maple Grove and Plymouth. Number 3 on the export list was vehicles, followed by ores and ash, products of the state's mining industry. And number 5 is food waste. Minnesota is currently ranked 20th among all states in exports. Coming up, why cheaper pet food may help you save now but cost you more later.
Then later in sports, 2 baseball teams that have struggled early search for a win as Armstrong faces Maple Grove.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast.
Did you ever waste your time watching this movie? Well, Joe Somebody, starring Tim Allen, was a financial flop. It did generate publicity for a Plymouth office building. That shiny glass building behind Tim Allen there is the 505 Tower. Well, now the 12-story building located near Highway 55 and Highway 169 is set to go up for sale. That's according to a report by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal. A Massachusetts real estate firm bought the property in 2004 for more than $27 million. Well, chances are bringing home a pet will wind up costing you much more than you realize.
An animal rights group estimates the first year of owning a dog or a cat, you can spend upwards of $1,000, and that's just in year 1. Reporter Shannon Slatton shares one place where you definitely want to think about quality over quantity.
Any day could be Bring Your Pet to Work Day for Liz Kayastia. She manages Chuck and Don's pet store in Plymouth. When it comes to pinching pennies with your pet, Liz recommends something you might not expect.
Look for premium pet foods that will, in the long run, save money because you're going to be feeding less food to them.
She says the cheapest food might not be the best. Instead, check the ingredients and look for the protein.
If there's more meat content in the food, it might be a little bit more expensive in the beginning per bag, but again, more meat, less grains, you're going to be feeding less because they're going to be getting more nutrients per cup.
At Green Veterinary Services in Brooklyn Park, Dr. Karen Green agrees.
I always say read the label on the side of the bag, look at what the first ingredient is. You want it to be protein.
Dr. Green also says check the amount you are feeding your pet. Overfeeding is not only expensive, but unhealthy.
If you read the small print on the bag, it says, AFCO certified for all stages of life. And so it's enough nutrition for a puppy. If you're giving the amount recommended on the bag to your adult dog, it's probably too much.
When it comes to saving money, pet owners can also follow the same rules you would at a grocery store.
It's always better to buy in bulk.
Look for coupons, rebates, and rewards programs to stretch your dollar even more. For Money Savers, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Dr. Green says many pet owners are considering raw meat diets for their pet, and she says if you do, take a careful look at quality and safe handling before buying. Coming up, North Hennepin students bring a burst of color to a Minneapolis neighborhood.
But first in sports, Champlin Park and Park Center need extra innings to decide their baseball showdown. John Jacobson has the highlights coming up. Pretty good ball game up in Champlin Park, and took extra innings to decide this one. Very close.
Two Brooklyn Park rivals, and yeah, it was a great game and a nice win for the home team in this one. After winning just 3 games a year ago, Park Center's baseball team has already won 4 this spring. Tuesday they met a Champlin Park team that came in with a 5-1 record. One of the nicest days of the spring to play, and this is a good game. In the bottom of the first inning, Trevor Kaminsky smacks a 2-out hit the other way. Brady Soderstrom scores 1-0 Rebels. We go to the top of the 5th. Champlin Park now up 2-0, but Austin Ledeen comes through with a 2-out hit right down the line and right. Brennan Budnick scores, and the Pirates draw even when Tyler Stroh scores in the wild pitch to make it 2-2. Same score on the top of the 7th. Stroh is clutch with a 2-out hit to plate Budnick. Park Center takes the lead at 3-2. The Rebels tie it at 3 in the bottom of the 7th. And in the 9th inning, with a runner at 3rd, Matt Smith lifts a fly ball to the gap. It drops. Justin Johnson trots home for the winning run. Champlin Park wins a good battle over Park Center 4-3. It's been a much slower start than usual for the Maple Grove baseball team this spring. The Crimson faced another team that has a lot of close losses, Armstrong, on Tuesday. Maple Grove at home to take on the Falcons. In the bottom of the 1st, Joe Franta drives one to right center field for the Crimson. Corey Pallion is the second of 2 runners to score in the play, and it's 2-0 Crimson on a double for Franta. Nick O'Hara changes that with 1 swing in the 3rd inning. The Armstrong shortstop tags it to deep right, and it just clears the fence for a solo home run. The first homer this spring for the Falcons pulls them within 2-1. Down 3-1, Armstrong gets a runner home as Nick Malmgren bounces to first, bringing Juan Ponce home to make it 3-2. They later tie it at 3. Maple Grove also executes to get a runner in. Isaac Collins on 3rd. Jack Keeblebeck grounds it to first, bring Collins in for a 4-3 Crimson lead. Riley Byland looking to nail down a win for the Crimson, and he gets some defensive help from right fielder Tyler Field with a nice running catch as Maple Grove wins for just the 2nd time this season, 4-3.
Coach has been telling us to get clutch hits, come up to the plate with confidence all week, and we just practiced like we played this week, and we got these clutch hits and put us up top.
The Park Center and Hopkins softball teams each have state tournament experience in recent seasons with a combined 5 trips to state since 2008. The Royals hosted the Pirates Tuesday at a non-conference game. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Lauren Fiegler at the plate, and she gets a good swing on that pitch and sends it over the fence and left for a 2-run homer. Fiegler with 2 hits and 3 RBIs in the game. The Royals lead 4-0. Fiegler as a pitcher gets the job done too. She gets a strikeout to end the top of the 4th. Pirates pitcher Jillian Rosby makes some good pitches, including this one to Fiegler with 2 runners on. It's a pop out to Lexi Peterson and ends the inning. In the 6th, a runner at 3rd for the Royals. Hannah Kleist at the plate. She grounds back to Rosby, who holds the runner at 3rd, throws out Kleist. Haley Den Hartog then takes off with 3rd and scores. When the ball is dropped at home, Hopkins gets 2 runs in the inning to lead 6-0. Fiegler spins a 1-hitter and strikes out 9, getting a punch out to end the game as Hopkins wins it 6-0.
A win like this help you guys? It's really nice. It gets everyone's spirits up, and it's really helpful for confidence and ego. We have a really tough conference, so we just need to stay in the game, keep our heads in it, and just get some more hits. I think we're going to be pretty good.
Well, it feels like the season just started, but a number of local track and field teams are competing at True Team section meets this week. Champlin Park's boys win the Section 4 3A True Team event at Elk River, edging out District 11 rival Andover. Elk River is third. Osseo, Maple Grove, Park Center, and Rogers place 6, 7, 8, 9. On the girls' side, Elk River takes the title just ahead of Anoka. Maple Grove is third. Champlin Park is fifth, with Osseo, Rogers, and Park Center in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Hopkins hosts a True Team meet Wednesday, where Wayzata is also competing. Providence Academy is the top local team in Section 4A Boys True Team. They finish in 6th place overall. Maple Lake, Rush City, and Mayor Lutheran are in the 1, 2, 3 spots. Brooklyn Center is 13th and Prairie Seeds 15th. Maple Lake also wins the girls' title ahead of Trinity and Mayor Lutheran. Providence places 5th with Brooklyn Center 13th. And that's a look at sports for today. Look at the very good Wayzata girls golf team coming up Thursday at 4.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, John. Up next, not your normal paint job.
How North Hennepin students are rejuvenating a South Minneapolis education center. We'll be right back.
Well, finally, graphic design students at North Hennepin Community College are taking their skills outside the classroom to benefit children in Minneapolis.
It's the alphabet and then how you would sign it.
The North Hennepin graphic design students have a large canvas to work on at the Pillsbury House Early Education Center. They're creating a mural for the kids' play area that includes interactive elements like a chalkboard and the sign language alphabet. The students designed the mural to reflect an urban scene with changing seasons and a diverse range of families represented. North Hennepin's graphic design program director hopes it's a win-win for his students and also the kids who will use the mural.
It gives the students who are working on the mural a sense of how their skills could be harnessed, not just for a job necessarily, but also for some greater good.
This is the first time that the graphic design program has done a civic engagement project, but they are hoping to do more in the future, and that mural should be done sometime this month.
That looks pretty neat.
Looks good out there,
Yeah,
that's
good
right.
job.
It's a little color. That's it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner coming up next, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.